Feel free to do that. Feel free because that's what essentially my talk is about. Don't grudge the old man. With a little embarrassment, all you have to do is make a move. If you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter. To keep you company when you're alone. Honor it to the end, whatever it may be. Mine is poetry. I write rubbish poetry. It's crap. But I write it. Reasons? Feel free to do that. Feel free because that's what essentially my talk is about. Feeling free, the freedom to be yourself, to listen to your inner voice and never let anyone tell you who you are or who you ought to be. Just don't grudge the old man and the old bag, ever. All us parents try to do is to make you happy with your choices by annoying you with ours that are actually your choices anyway. But you just don't know it yet. Your hormone levels are too high for you to understand this confusing logic. All you want to be is yourselves, and you're quite sure you know what that is. And I'm here tonight on your side only to confirm your conviction as you set forth into the big bad world from... I was talking about parents because I think tonight is about parents. So I'm going to tell you something about my parents. My mother was top class. She was really cool. She loved me unconditionally, was beautiful like all mothers are, and believed I will be the most famous man in the world and I could do no wrong. And my father was a gentleman. He was very educated, masters in law, extremely intelligent, knew 7 languages, had traveled the world, knew his politics, fought for the freedom of our country, India, and excelled at sports like hockey, swimming, and polo. He could cook and recite poems and knew the capital of every country in the world. My father was also very, very poor. He was unemployed and struggling to make ends meet for 15 years of my life that I had the privilege of knowing him. From when I was 10 to when I was 15, not being able to afford fancy gifts for me, he would wrap up something old that belonged to him in newspapers and declare it as a birthday gift when my birthday came along. This, in the next 11 and a half minutes left that I have, is the story of the 5 gifts my father gave me and how they helped me become what I am today. When I was 10, my father gave me an old chess set. Chess is a reflection of life, they say, and as cliched as it sounds, it's probably true. The first thing it teaches you is that every move has a consequence, whether you perceive that it does or does not. Nothing you do, not a single moment, is empty of living. So think of things through, not always, but often enough, so your life does not feel as black and white and as uniform as the squares on a chessboard. Sometimes in order to move forward, you might need to take a few steps back. And there's no loss in doing something that hurts in the short run, but proves worthwhile in time. You can't get anywhere in chess if you don't look out for the little ones around you. The small pawns. Life is like that too. If you forget the smallest of your people, or become foolish enough to imagine that the little graces you are given are of no value, you end up nowhere. When you look around you, learn to notice all the tiny little things that make your existence privileged and special. Just the fact that you are here. For those of you who've never played the game, it's when you get so stuck that whichever move you make is a bad move. It will happen to each and every one of you at some point in your lives for sure. A moment will come when it will look like there isn't anything going right and nothing you can do to prevent disaster. Ask me, I just finished Dilwale, followed it up with Fan. So, when you are in zoom swang, kids, don't panic. Whenever there is trouble and you know there is no way out of disaster, don't panic. With a little embarrassment, you will survive it. Trust me. All you have to do is make a move. All you have to do is move on a bit. As the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland said, when Alice came to the fork in the road, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter which road you take. I will add to it. As long as you take one road and don't keep standing in the middle of the fork until a truck runs you over. Often in zugzwang, your enemy wins that particular move, but mostly you end up winning the game. There were no computers when I was a kid, nor were there iPhones for us to Google pornography on. while our parents were busy checking their selfie likes on Instagram. One of the most precious gifts my father gave me was an Italian typewriter. I learned how to use it from him, how to roll paper into the roller and press the lever, you know. I don't know if you guys have seen a typewriter. Google it, yeah. Yeah, the clicking sound of the letters as I pressed them with my fingers, forming words on blank pages, fascinated me. To use a typewriter well, you needed diligence. One wrong letter, and the whole exercise had to be started all over again. We used something called Typex to erase our mistakes in those days. Not to sniff at during math classes. But too much Typex in math classes or in typewriting is unacceptable. So we had to learn how to move our fingers accurately, to make words out of thoughts with efficiency, and do it over and over again till we got it just right. As an adult, I have come to understand that there is nothing of more value than your capacity for diligence and your ability to work hard. If you can outwork your adversaries and your employees, you can ensure your own success in whatever it is you choose to do. Whatever you're doing, do it once. Then do it one more time, even more carefully. Practice will make everything seem easier. Be diligent, be thorough. Think of every job you do as the first one. So you have to get it right or you won't be able to impress everyone. And at the same time, do it as your last job, as if you will not get a chance to do it again ever. Don't just outwork yourself. Only parents clapping. In fact, you can outwork yourself. If you can outwork yourself, then pretty much nothing can prevent you from glorying. Then my father gave me a camera. And the most beautiful thing about it was that it did not work. We all have those Leica ones, old ones, which don't work, look really cool. I learned that things don't always have to be functional to fulfill a need. That sometimes when things are broken, the greatest creativity emanates from their fragments. I found myself looking at my world magically through the unusable lens, and the fact that there was never any actual photograph to see taught me my most important lesson yet. That creativity is a process of the soul. It does not need an outcome or a product for the world to accept. It needs only the truth of its own expression. It comes from within and makes of your world whatever you wish it to make. So don't be afraid of your own creativity. Honor it. It doesn't always have to be seen or approved by those around you. It is an expression of your deepest self, and it belongs as much to you as it does to the universe that nurtures and inspires it. All creativity is not for everyone to like or understand. All art is not up for sale. Some creativity has a bigger role to play. It is to keep you company when you're alone, when you need a friend, when the world doesn't seem to understand you. Your creativity, whatever that may be, I know a friend of mine who makes dolls out of bath bags from aeroplanes. Whatever your creativity is, your creativity will be the only thing that will keep you inspired and satisfied. Honor it to the end, whatever it may be. Mine is poetry. I write rubbish poetry. It's so bad that sometimes I cringe to read it myself. It's crap. But I write it. It is my secret place. It is mine to make me feel free and happy. So you find yours, and if the world loves it, good. If it doesn't, even better, because now you will truly have a friend. So keep your creativity intact. My father was a funny guy. He had the capacity to turn any kind of serious situation in a way that it seemed less stressful, with a bit of humor. Without a sense of humor, the world will always be a dull and dreary place. No darkness or despair should ever be beyond a good and a hearty laugh. Okay. Well, what I'm referring to is what counts as the most beautiful and final gift that my father gave me. I only realized it was a gift on the day he died, when I was 15 years old. A gift your parents have given to you already. Yes, the singularly most exquisite gift you and I have been given is the gift of life itself. There is nothing that marks a man or a woman out from the ordinary more perfectly than grace. Grace is the consciousness that life is bigger than we are, and therefore our gratitude for it must match its vastness. It is the understanding that everyone we encounter, whether they are loving towards us or offensively abrasive, is a human like we are. It is knowing that experiences shapes human beings, and no matter how good we are at something or how successful we may become, we are never better than the other person. If you can live your life with grace towards those around you, you will accomplish more than you could. If you can live your life with grace towards those around you. Okay, actually, what the hell? Because I came and told you a secret that I write rubbish poetry, I'm going to read out a poem and end this. This is the most rubbish poem you'll hear, but keep it in your heart because I'm the damn chief guest tonight. If your after party EDM stone sunrise has found you, with dog shift, wrappings, and friends that will not confound you, and you start on this journey with a brave heart about you, if you live life with grace towards those around you, you'll get where you have to, and it won't astound you. If it isn't Ferraris and a White House that downed you, you won't need an entourage to always surround you. It's your truth you will have that will shelter and ground you. And you'll remember this day as the day that unbound you. From the walls of this beautiful school and the teachers, exams and all the rules that sometimes seem to hound you. And let me tell you, you all will be successful. Let me remind you. Now it was remind, but because it's not rhyming. So boys and girls, go forth, be free, have fun, make wrong choices, make mistakes. You will still succeed because the gift of education you have. And when you succeed, don't forget to thank your least favorite teacher because he or she actually cared for you the most. Love you all and be happy.